Rather abrupt ending, but Jim, you know what that means? That means it is time for the classy portion of the show. We're going to head over to Gay Paris.
Gay Paris!
For WWE's Clash in Paris.
Oh, my little flower blossom. Oh, come on, I will kiss your, I will kiss your arm, I will kiss your shoulder, I will kiss my money goodbye in the divorce.
Well, let's talk about it. Clash in Paris, WWE's latest international extravaganza. Their last Peacock Premium Live event.
That even sounds like a parody. Our last Peacock Premium Live event. See, you're just trying to be a stick in the mud and rein me in, Brian, and I'm trying not to take any of this too seriously this week. The Clash in Paris had 30,000 people at the event, and 28,742 of them love karaoke. The Europeans are a singing bunch of folks. Is this a thing that is just it's completely that whole region of the world over there is just going to do this nonstop? Right?
It is now spread over here. You hear it now at American wrestling shows, specifically because of these international events that have taken place, and the fans just nonstop singing, in this case dancing. It was almost like they conjured up a power from their dancing and caused things to happen.
Yes, the lights flickered. I thought they were going to pair off into the goddamn, the Soul Train fucking line there where they could dance down the middle individually, but they didn't.
He was like, we're going to dance until what we want to happen happens. Let's go and sing. Now, it's a lot. And
they've got their own chants, though. And obviously, some of it was in a foreign language of some description. What do they speak over there in France?
French.
Oh, well, see, at least they're logical people. So let's start at the beginning.
I speak some French. You want to hear it?
Oh, go ahead.
I surrender. I surrender.
Oh, come on now. It's terrible. What would LeBeau think of you at a time like this? He was fighting the good fight in the French resistance. Vive la France! Vive la resistance! See, I can get somebody else a gimmick in the WWF just off an old Hogan's Heroes episode. Anyhow, so these singing, dancing son of a bitches came to see this show. And is it me, Brian, or did this magnify again the differences? AEW, they can get a house still in London or whatever, or for one of their big pay-per-view events, but they were in the fucking ECW arena last week and, committed 17 acts of attempted mayhem and homicide in front of 900 people, and it never stops. And here they've got 30,000 people, and I swear to God, this was the slowest paced wrestling show. Up top to bottom, there were good things.
Now, that opening match, we'll get to it momentarily, that took forever.
But it just, again, I know people are going to say, oh, Cornette, the territory days were the way. Well, they were. But I'm not even talking, if you go back to what everybody still tries to praise and replicate what got us into this mess, the Attitude Era, those goddamn classic matches that drew all those huge crowds and sellouts and pay-per-views and blah, 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 they didn't go 35, 40 fucking minutes every goddamn night, multiple times per night. Austins and Takers and Bears, oh my, all those names they got in there for their grudge matches, their main events, their title shit, the stuff that's set up with angles, and they fucking had a kick-ass fucking fight. They didn't waste any time. They didn't let grass grow on them. And they tore the house down and got the fuck out of there. And they have completely evolved the style. I'm not saying that you should go 100 miles an hour, whether you're over or not in every match, whether you're getting any feedback or investment from the crowd or not, and do just spot after spot after spot like the indie folks. But Jesus Christ, I've seen guys both down selling on this pay-per-view longer than some matches used to take. It would seem again there would be some type of happy medium. Is all I'm saying.
Unfortunately, there isn't.
Well, thank you very much.
That's what reality's smacking us in the face with.
So the opening match was Bronson Reed versus Roman Reigns, and you haven't lived until you've heard. You know, the best part to me, of Roman's entrance in this show, because it takes a while, again, for him to get there, but his music has that slow groove, and there were 30,000 really white people with no rhythm trying to sing Roman Reigns to his music, which it sounded like trying to sing the Partridge Family over Beethoven. It didn't fucking fit.
No, the British fans are very good at it. The French fans haven't been able to successfully nail that part of it.
And maybe there's some kind of, I don't know, problem with the French music, the School of Music, all the famous French composers. They didn't deal in funky Samoan entrance music. And anyway, then they sang with no music. And then finally they rang the bell. And they didn't do anything, and the fans sang some more. And then they didn't do anything else, and the fans chanted. And then they did a collar and elbow lockup and milk and got some more chants. And I swear I was like, then there were 1 tackle, 2 tackle, some punches. I said, it's a spot show match. This is not a grudge match. The guy stole his shit. He had his Shula Fala. The whole thing with Heyman. This big fucking animosity they built up, and they're doing the 10 punches in the corner in the first 5 minutes. Did this seem odd to you?
This entire match and the match layout seemed odd to me. It was an endless match with a very long post-match, even though that was better than the actual match. That too took a long time. But this match... They certainly lulled you into thinking it wasn't going to happen. I'll agree with you. This match went forever. This was brutal. This was like these guys doing AEW's main events. Like, we'll do 30 minutes no matter what. They went forever. I didn't even write down how much time. It felt like it went 40 minutes, this match.
Well, hold on. I believe I did.
It felt like 40 minutes. What was it?
40 minutes plus. Counting all of the various things that were going on in the thing.
This was brutal.
And at one point, Michael Cole said, well, you know, Roman Reigns only wrestled 4 times this year, but Bronson Reed's been in the ring every week. Do you think that'll play a part? Wasn't he off for like months with a broken ankle?
Yeah.
Did he just come back not long ago?
And by the way, this comes on the heels of them bragging again on commentary. Like, Roman Reigns held the title as long as almost anyone. Yeah, and he defended the title less times than anyone. Barely wrestled.
But I mean, they'd do something. They'd have a flurry. At one point, Bronson Reed rock-bottomed Roman Reigns on the desk, but then I'm making notes like Bronson Reed stops Roman Reigns, gets slow-paced heat. Why can't anybody go all out for 9 minutes and tear the house down and leave anymore? The fans were singing during a chin lock, long chin lock. 10 minutes in, I'm saying, hurry up.
Imagine how wrestling fans would treat Big John Studd differently today if when he was putting someone in a chin lock, they all sang. It changes the whole atmosphere. It makes guys seem better than they are.
Well, actually, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it seems obvious that people are just entertaining themselves at the expense of things in the match you're trying to get over if you're one of the guys in the match. I mean, you know, Reed can get aggressive, but he's 300 and whatever pounds. He can't be aggressive for 30 minutes straight, and he's more impressive when he is aggressive. But I wrote, get the pace is glacial, nothing wrong, just slow. And then they started some, you know, big false finishes, whatever. Bronson Reed foiled a spear, hit a power bomb, got a 2 count. And then finally they set it up. Roman Reigns got a Samoan drop off the top rope and speared him 1, 2, 3. It's kind of okay. They just finished. It didn't, the energy wasn't there. And that the match was 20 minutes plus, and I wrote 10 would have been fine. But then Paul is trying to comfort or resuscitate or whatever Bronson Reed, and Roman Reigns sees Paul and his shoes. And then Paul turns around and sees Roman Reigns. And he begs and pleads, and oh, my tribal chief, I've always loved you. And Paul handed over the shoe Lafala, and that got a big pop. But then, oh, bless him, they had to get Roman Reigns, for what they're going to do, had to get his hands on the manager, get his hands on Paul to some extent. But because of Paul's current condition, I don't know when he's ever going to have this thing. It may be twins or triplets by now. But Roman Reigns grabs him in a front face lock while Paul is standing up, and then slowly lets him go to his knees as he chokes him out. Poor Paul. How old is Paul now, Brian? Is he 60 yet? What is he, 5 years younger than me? We've talked about this before.
Yeah, we have, and I don't remember. Let me check. Paul Heyman.
He can't be 60 yet.
59 years old. It says here 231 pounds.
Ha! What year was that written? 1997? Anyway, he front face locked him and he slowly slumped to the ground. Bless him. Bless his little heart. I would have gone for the big bump if it had been me. You know me, Brian. I was like the Chris Colt of wrestling managers. Can't give me too many bumps, but oh, well, we don't want anybody to get hurt. Anyway, so then Roman Reigns gets on the desk. He's celebrating. He's signing the shoes and tossing them to the crowd. And then here comes Braun Breaker with a spear, announce desk to announce desk. It just blistered him. And then they see Jelly Roll in the crowd shitting over that. Jelly Roll went to Paris for this show?
Well, no, I think they did say that he has a concert there. It just so happens that he's there. I think they said.
Oh, it just so happens. He's not a stalker. It just so happens he shows up in Paris.
You kind of have to be an international celebrity to be able to afford these ringside tickets to some of these shows.
Well, but it just seems odd that the scheduling would be. I think he's trying to follow them around. I think he's got the fever now. He's got the fever in the morning and fever all through the night. You give me fever.
Oh, boy.
What is French jelly?
Is there a cure for this fever? That's the question a lot of the listeners are asking themselves.
Well, anyway, here came the officials. The heels helped Paul up and milked it forever while Roman's down and they're leaving. And then Braun came around and gave him another spear. And then they threw Roman in and Bronson Reed splashed him. And then all the officials and the security and everybody, they get the stretcher out, and the EMTs and the heels again are taking forever to go. And you see the cameras on still going back and forth on everybody. So you're kind of realizing that something else is going to happen. And then finally, he gets on the stretcher, and then Reed comes back, another splash. And then Jey Uso comes out and makes a comeback. But they stop him and they get him down. And then they finally end up splashing Roman again. It's just that last part easily took another 10 minutes. So this whole thing was, and the bell didn't ring for the match till we were 15 minutes into the show because the spots, the commercials, the travelogues, and the entrances. So it took a while.
Oh, yes.
Was there heat? Did you feel it? It wasn't scalding.
Was there heat? Singing isn't heat.
No.
Smiling and dancing and singing isn't heat. I think they enjoyed watching and singing to the show, is what I think it was. It took forever, then they had to strap him to the thing, then he just knew it was going to keep going, and it did. But it also led itself to an angle for the rest of the show to get rid of everyone. I guess you could say that. It almost got rid of me.
All righty then. Well, then we were treated to a tag team match for some kind of tag team title where the Wyatts face the Street Profits. Brian, your thoughts?
Yeah, this ain't my tag team division. I like the Street Profits too. I think they could be used better. Something that wrestling fans have been saying for a long time now. And sadly, that kind of phrasing runs out of time with certain guys at a certain point. So I don't know what's going on with them, and I can't watch the Wyatts. I can't take them seriously. Doesn't seem like the fans really react to them either. So I don't know. I mean, I know they have like some kind of themed Wyatt thing at Universal Theme Park, like some kind of Halloween pop-up. So I mean, they're trying to do
all of the Wyatts, were they big enough to ride the ride?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but they're doing something to try to market them, but the fans don't give a There's not one tag team in this company the fans care about.
Well, the Wyatt thing, obviously, they wanted to keep it going because Bray Wyatt was over, despite whatever we might have thought positive or negative or all points in between of his whole fiendishness or whatever. This is like, I can't even draw a simile to a famous 60s or 70s sitcom where they replaced the entire cast and didn't replace the star of the show who also was never a part of it after that. It don't work. It was spooky for a while. What do you do with it? It's past the entrance and the spookiness and the lights going out.
And it's a very well-lit show. It's a hard place to be spooky.
Yeah, there's really no place that ghosts and goblins and demons and succubuses and things like that can hide.
I mean, the ring's well lit. They like the fans. I mean, everything's lit. Everything's lit up. It's hard to be a spooky, demonic character in the light.
Would that be succubi?
If it was more than one.
Well,
what'd you think of this match? You asked me my thoughts. You're the tag team expert. I'd love to get yours.
I thought it was a good place to skip ahead to the next match. That's what I did.
Do you think WWE will ever have a serious tag team division again with tag teams that either fans care about or tag teams that actually can generate match heat?
Again, they've got one at least right now with Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. And if they would start now programming some of their top single baby faces to join together, even in a short term, to do a little program with these guys and make the belts involved. And then you've got Seth, the world champion. You've got these guys, tag team champions. You know, the Horsemen come to mind, but any top heel stable, the Heenan family in the AWA, whatever the case. And then you train the people that tag team matches can be important and the champions can be main event guys again. And then you might be able to do something, and then also that puts more spotlight on Braun and professional jealousy between he and Seth eventually in the same group. And we'll get to what Seth has going on here in a few minutes. But to me, that would help. But if you don't, I don't care how they book the tag team division. If all the tag team guys are just middle card guys, that's the way the people see all the tag teams. So you have to have main eventers in that mix.
We'll see if that happens.
Speaking of main eventers, Brian, these were certainly two people that have been put in main events before. Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella.
Oh, man, match of the weekend.
You know, I don't know that I've ever seen a Bella match in its entirety. I still haven't seen one in its entirety, but I've seen enough. But we asked the question a while back. It was Do you remember anybody saying, "Oh, the Great Bella match" or the Great Bella promo, or who the fuck? Why are these people so revolutionary? Woo! But Becky didn't do herself any favors in this one either.
Yeah, I was going to say,
And
I mean, you could say whatever you want about Nikki Bella, but Becky wasn't too far behind.
well, the two things that went viral, as the kids say, the two spots were one, Nikki did something, I can't even remember what it was, but booted Becky Lynch as she was running into the turnbuckle. And she goes down, and Nikki turns around and does the Tom Zink Z-Man flying cross body to nowhere. She jumped up on the middle turnbuckle and did a turnaround cross body, and Becky Lynch was nowhere. Nowhere. It wasn't even turned around yet. Wasn't even anywhere reachable. And Nikki Bella just crashes and burns. And as she was going past her, Becky started to react like, oh shit, should I bump? And realized that she had just whiffed and gone completely not even close to her. But that looked like she just decided, I'll turn around and commit Harry Carey now off the top turnbuckle.
It will never not be a funny spot when that happens. The Tom Zink Brian Lee one, which was like the first and last time anyone saw Brian Lee in WCW. That's the greatest one it could ever be, just because it's shot perfectly. Like it's a wide shot.
Yes.
It's towards the camera.
And Zink was so athletic that he just got all kinds of fucking height and momentum and distance and everything. The problem was Brian Lee, for those of you who haven't seen it, it was a live Clash of Champions.
Yeah.
And Zink hip tossed Brian Lee all the way across the ring, and Brian bounced up into the far turnbuckle. And by the time he was back to his feet, Zink had jumped up on the turnbuckle that was all the way across the ring from Brian Lee and just did a turnaround crossbody into the void and fell and rolled to Brian Lee's feet, and Brian just kicked him in the head. But then later on in this match, Becky and Nikki, Nikki was supposedly ramming, this was the other one that went viral, Becky's head into the announcer desk. And actually, she would bounce her off one desk and then the other desk and then the one desk and then the other desk. But not only was she just doing it with so little effort, because Becky was doing the whole thing, so it was just like a blasé bomb, 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 bomb. But Becky quit trying after 2 or 3 and was just slapping the desk with her hands in front of her face and going along with it. And I think when Nikki went let loose of her, Becky went into the desk one more time just out of force of habit. And it's what?
Yeah, see, that's Becky more than Nikki.
Oh yeah, no, that's. I'm sorry, but a lot of the girl wrestling of these days is a lot of this shit, but so is the guys, to be honest with you. Because it's like that they have said, oh, we're in big buildings, the people are so far away, we'll just throw punches or kicks or whatever that just come in the vicinity, and the other guy will just cover up and make it look like shit anyway, even if it does make some kind of contact. And then we'll just act like it's just, and because we'll slap our leg and people will go, ooh, it's high definition television. The guys in the smaller buildings or in the smaller TV studio shows of the territories, or just because even if they were in big buildings, but it was still regular television, they made their shit look better and snugger and a little more credible, to say the least, than these guys that are on high definition 4K fucking TV with 27 different camera angles. And they think they can just kind of get close and it works. Finally, Becky Lynch rolled her up 1, 2, 3. So you had that going for you.
Yeah, not a good match, and kind of embarrassing at times. Obviously, Antonio Inoki's quite mad about the whole thing. I'm gonna get this to play that song at some point. It will happen.
Do you think he'd have wanted to slap both of them? Give them some fighting spirit?
I don't know. Maybe, when people aren't around, he would say, "Please slap me." You never know with Inoki. But yeah, this match wasn't good. And obviously, Becky Lynch has bigger things in store for her, which they tease later on, but they become more official with the next night.
Well, nevertheless, we will get there when we get there, because next up was a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match with Rusev and Sheamus. And again, this is so ridiculous. They've taken the idea of a street fight in wrestling where you come dressed as you want and bring what you want, and you got a chair, you got a stick, or you got a guy, whatever. And they have made it look so phony and silly and staged and like the set of a game show that you can't take it seriously. It's not about guys having a fight, settle an issue. It's about guys falling through furniture again. The beer kegs set up around the ring, the kendo sticks and chairs, the Slim Jim tables everywhere, the bar, because you did Sheamus's shillelagh. It's like watching AEW where the indie kids are playing, except they're probably going to spend a little bit more money on getting professionals to dress this set, and they won't take as many bumps.
It's like watching AEW, except Miro came back to the States.
Well, yes, they didn't have to film this live from Bulgaria. But it's silly indie shit, which is why the kids that grow up watching this shit think that somehow you can't have a wrestling match without furniture stacked around the ring. That's obviously there to be used in a phony endeavor. And this is all the same. And I realized that I was watching Rusev whack Sheamus with a kendo stick over and over. And I said, what? Anybody can do this. There's no sense in reviewing it. There's no talent to it. It didn't sell one ticket of the 30,000 that are there to see it. It's just stuck on the card to clutter shit up. And I got better things to do. So I skipped ahead about 10 minutes to see what would happen. And Sheamus gave Rusev his finish off the top of the beer kegs through 2 tables to the floor. And then they crawled back in the ring, and Rusev got the shillelagh and turned around, and Sheamus hit his kick and covered him. 1, 2, kick. Oh, God damn it. I fast forwarded another 10 minutes. It was over with, and we were ready for the title match. But what the fuck? What the ever-loving fuck?
Well, this has been kind of their feud. They're having these matches that prove to the world that it's not a work.
But again, I can even see, okay, he gives him the finish off the top of the beer kegs, through 2 tables to the floor. They crawl back in the ring. The heel gets the gimmick. The baby face hits him with his kick. 1, 2, 3. I can see that. But that's the fucking false finish. That's a 2 count. Jesus Christ. Anyway, so yeah, I thought we were probably mostly done with furniture for the night. So I started back watching with the following contest. So I don't know who won between Sheamus and Rusev, and I don't really care.
You've never been a big Sheamus fan. He's been there a very long time. Rusev had moments as Miro in AEW where you started to kind of get into him, and then he would just disappear off TV completely or do nonsensical promos in a studio. Are you surprised the way they've used him or how they haven't used him since he's returned? It's almost like they just signed him to have him. Like he's in the middle of this, Ron Garvin, Greg Valentine feud with Sheamus. But I don't know if anyone really truly cares about him past that. What are they going to do with this guy?
I thought that they would probably be doing the monster push thing that they have done with either a Jacob Fatu in a different way. He's not the same. Miro's not there. Miro Rusev. What's his name now? Rusev's not the same talent as Jacob, but a big, unstoppable guy. Or they're Bronson Reed now is that, and Jacob Fatu has been that, and Braun Breaker's kind of that, and to be honest, I think old Rusev is kind of lost in the shuffle because he's not as good as any of those guys. So now he's fighting Sheamus.
Well, so far it's been banger after banger here in Paris.
Well, Paris is the place to get banged. That's what I've always heard. Okay, now the time has come that we've been waiting for it. Apparently, all the people in Paris were waiting for it too because it got the most reaction of the night, and it was actually still long and still slow, but the only one-on-one legitimate non-garbage wrestling match of the night where they didn't rely either on furniture or multiple people or all the other sins that we have come to know, because people just wanted to see fucking John Cena beat Logan Paul. They just wanted to see John Cena. And they really wanted to see Logan Paul. I'm not even sure they cared whether Logan Paul got beat. They wouldn't have liked it if Cena got beat, but it was a chance for them. The crowd got to cheer everybody, sing everybody's song, boo everybody, chant for the people and wave for the people and whatever. And in this match, they got to do all of their greatest hits. They were able to do all of those things in the same match. And again, Cena, from the time that his music hit, which they milked it forever, and then boom, he came, the fans sang his song and chanted for Cena and thank you, Cena. And they chanted something that was to the Scissor Me Daddy tune. I don't know what the fuck these people are saying over there. But also, did you see the statistic? It was John Cena's first time wrestling in France. How is that possible when you think about it?
Well, a lot of these international priorities weren't priorities 10 years ago, 15 years ago, or 20 years ago. They didn't even run all these towns or all these cities.
Well, yeah, but I know they didn't make a habit of it, but first time ever, John Cena was in the main events, top level pay-per-view. If it was a important tour, he'd be booked on it for years and years, and they never once went to France while he was on a card. That's amazing when you think about it, just for that amount of time. And he's only had 19 matches in Europe. They've been in Europe fucking 19 times the last 6 months. So anyway, this, I think, was the match of the night. It could have been better if it could have been better if John Cena was 20 years younger, but he's not. And I'm kind of amazed that he was able to do this well for this long at his age, which nobody else has really been working this hard to this level for this long at that age. But again, it was a smart match. There was no doubt John was calling it because you could see his mouth moving almost incessantly. But Logan Paul is just a natural. He just, again, so good. And not only is doing the moves, but the timing and the attitude for having 23 matches or whatever in total. Cena's wrestled in Europe almost as many times as Logan Paul's had matches. I liked a lot of it, and a lot of it I didn't. Like I said, it's probably the best John Cena match we've seen of his comeback. Logan Paul is amazing with the heel attitude and the way that he's taken to this. The fans waving and singing and dancing incessantly, no matter what the fuck is going on in a lot of cases, to me, distracts from what the guys are trying to do in the ring. I know they're having fun and they paid their money, they could do whatever, but it just, to me, it would be distracting and throw off momentum that you might be trying to build. And it was a little slow, but at least, again, they had an excuse. John's 50, but they got to take up a lot of time on these shows these days, it seems like. And they had nice false finishes. They didn't, as I said, have to break all the furniture in the building or set anybody on fire. And the people were, you tell me, Brian, where the people were into the match happening and seeing it and being there and seeing these people, but were the people into the match or were they just entertaining themselves while the match was going on?
There definitely was a large contingent of fans entertaining themselves. I don't know if it was just because they were so excited over Cena. It definitely wasn't because there was any heat for Logan Paul. They were happy to see it. I mean, that's the other thing. You have this really talented heel in Logan Paul. He's not going to get any heat in this situation with those fans in this match for Cena. His first and last match in Paris. But yeah, it distracted. I mean, to be quite honest with you, at points, especially when they started dancing or marching in place, whatever was happening there, the fans were more exciting than the wrestling for some of this show.
Well, yeah, see, and here's the thing. I'll be honest with you. From the time that I got into business, and a lot of guys are told this, maybe still to this day, when the fans are fucking going crazy and making all that noise, either slow down or sell or lay out, let them make noise. Why get up and start beating yourself up when they're already screaming? Take that as a cue to let them, but that was in the days when the fans were actually cheering the events that were happening in the match and raving about that, rather than just they've all gotten together to where now they're going to do this chant forever. And it wasn't necessarily brought on by a specific thing that happened in the ring. Does that make sense that it might be a different thing of laying down and letting them do that than not getting up and stepping on your pop for what you've done in your match the old way?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. It doesn't seem like a place to have like a great match. Not that people won't love it, but
well, and that's, and a lot of the guys are going to go, Jesus Christ, we didn't have to take any bumps. But you still took all the bumps you called. You just took longer to do it. But anyway, finally, then after the fans were hopping and the waving and the singing, and then Logan Paul hit a crossbody off the top rope. Cena rolled through, went for the AA. They did a little do-si-do back and forth, and Cena hit the AA 1, 2, 3. And I wrote at the bottom, allowing for Cena's age, and it was a great effort. The crowd liked everything. Didn't necessarily compliment everything, but liked everything. But it was not the Mid-South wrestling style. Let's put it that way.
Nor has anything John Cena has ever done been. But, that's that. Logan Paul gets one of the farewell matches. It's a big moment in his career. And we're on to the next Cena. When is him and Brock? Forgot all about that.
Oh, that has to be September 20th when they debut on the new thing that they started last week that they're paying $1.5 billion for them to do the thing for. Don't they? Right?
I get
a lot of people don't think it'd be like it is, but it do.
Wait, when is the first pay-per-view on ESPN?
September 20th against.
Oh shit.
All in, all out, all the time from the other. Yeah.
I just got used to Amazon Prime for AEW. I still don't have this ESPN app for WWE.
Oh, we got to figure that out.
Yeah.
But now we'll have to be streaming. There'll be pissing out and pissing in on September 20th. And we got to record the next day after that because I'm getting teeth pulled that week. And I have a feeling some of these matches on these pay-per-views will be like pulling teeth.
Well, we will note that. I'm sure Jace will note that. But Jim, there's still more clashing in Paris.
There is. It's putty. Every little breeze seems to whisper Louise. Louise. So the main event, and the reason why it was the main event was because they're doing the shocking conclusion. But boy, if I'd have had my druthers, I'd have druther not gone on after Cena and Logan Paul just because the crowd was so fucking tired from jumping up and down and screaming. They still managed to sing and chant more, but it was not to the level of the Cena business. A 4-way for the other world title between Jey Uso, LA Knight, CM Punk, and Seth Franklin Rollins. And boy, this was a big building for old Jey Uso's entrance, wasn't it? And the fans needed no encouragement to wave and sing and yeet. Goddamn, can you imagine what if those people were jumping and waving and yeeting and doing all that stuff all night? They were sweating, as Chris Candido would say. They probably stunk like a man eating Fremunda cheese in a septic tank of a slaughterhouse by the time they got out of there. Whew. It didn't used to be that you had to blow yourself up to be a member of the audience.
Imagine how over Bruno would have been if he had come out dancing in the crowd with the fans.
Holy shit, yeah, they'd have had to give the fans oxygen. They'd have been so blown up. Anyway, this was also the first CM Punk match in France. Now, that would be moderately surprising, maybe not as surprising as Cena, but still, two of the biggest stars of the modern era, first time they've been to France. How come France kept getting fucked around?
Vince hates France.
They gave us the fry. The least that we could do is give them our wrestling champions.
Vince hates fries.
Well, apparently Vince has changed his opinions about a number of things since I knew him. So, you know what? Maybe that's the thing. Maybe he doesn't want anybody to sue. He's trying to arbitrate and doesn't want to go to Discovery because she's got footage of him eating French fries.
All right, I don't know about that.
And a big old cheeseburger.
I don't know about that, but let's go to yet another 4-way match.
He used to look at me when I would be dipping my big old double-breaded chicken fingers in a big old cup of ranch dressing. He would look at me like I was the one pooping on somebody's head. How the worm has turned. So anyway, Braun Breaker and Braun Breaker?
Braun Breaker?
Braun Breaker.
That's one of my toys, Braun Breaker.
Braun Breaker and Bronson Red have been.
I got to shit on your head.
Yes. I want to shit on your head, Bronson Red.
All right, back to Bronson Red and Braun Breaker. In a match? But they weren't in this match. They gone.
Yes, no. I'm trying to tell you, I was clearing my throat there because she tickled me. Braun Breaker and Breaker and Bronson Red have been booted out of the arena. It's what's happened. They're not there anymore. And Paul is in the hospital from getting choked out by Roman Reigns in the first match. That's what the announcers are saying. So Seth he's all by his lonesome. And he's one heel against 3 baby faces. That might make you sympathetic sometimes, but the baby faces, they're kind of mad at each other too. And that will come out, through the course of the match. So, yeah, no matter how good everybody is or isn't in the match, and most of the people in the match are very good, it's a 4-way. And I'm saying it's just the laziest, most repetitive shit. I'm not saying the guys are being lazy. I'm saying the creative team, the bookers are lazy. Because they just do this. And you can't tell a story throughout this thing that's uninterrupted. You can tell a story between two people and it comes out at the end or whatever, but guys just have to disappear for long stretches of time while other guys get their shit in. It's unnatural. It interrupts the flow of an athletic contest. And you see it so often. This was a better one. Some really stink and most are just blah. But I mean, I can give you a description. Everybody did everything at some point. They hit all their shit. They did everything they were supposed to. It's a four-way. And finally, they had wiped out Punk when he took a bump off the apron onto a table that cracked, but it didn't break. But then LA Knight tried to do an elbow drop on Seth off the top rope on the announce desk, and Seth moved, and LA Knight went through the desk. And then Seth and Uso went back and forth forever, and Seth had him, but Punk came back in then and made the save. And then Punk hit the go-to-sleep on Uso and covered him, but Seth stomped Punk and got a 2 count. That was a nice false finish. But then Seth stomped LA Knight and Uso on the floor to keep them down a little while longer. While he got a chair, brought it in the ring, set it up, put Punk's head in through the chair. Brian, even if you're dazed, if like a hand grenade goes off next to your head, wouldn't you be able to pull your head out of a fucking chair?
Yeah, and you know what? The whole time I'm thinking, I just saw a clip of these two guys, Rollins and Punk, going over their WrestleMania match on Unreal. They thought all this was a good idea. They talked all this through and thought, yeah, this is the way we should go.
Yeah, that's another thing. Seeing them talking about it kind of shits all over the post toasties. But anyway, he goes for the stomp on the chair, but Punk moved. Seth stomped the chair. Punk hit a go to sleep. Went for the second go to sleep, had him up, and a black ninja came into the ring, hoodie and all wrapped up, and hit Punk in the balls right in front of the referee because it's no disqualification. And then took the hood off, and it was Becky Lynch. It was Becky, that no good Jezebel. And then Seth hit the stomp, cover, 1, 2, 3. Now, there were some good things about this, but again, here is, you can't do shit like that in front of the referee and expect it to get heat on the talent and make the point you're trying to make. Because the first thing that the fan does, even subliminally, is sit there and look at, well, that fucking referee ain't doing a goddamn thing. Or if they say, well, the referee can't do anything because it's no DQ, then it's the promotion's fault. That's why this was not done until the modern age of wrestling, where then it became immaterial whether you had any heat or sold any tickets because they're just going to pay you from the networks. But if you want to do this right, even if it's no DQ, when there's interference to that level that decides the match in favor of the heel over the babyface, distract the referee in a meaningful and credible way. You don't have to bump him and he'd be down for 7 minutes. Don't let him fucking see it. But now that I've said that, this is brilliant with him and Becky. And we'll get to what they did on Raw in just a moment. But I've said this before, and a lot of the fans, maybe they still don't get it. Yes, they've had some women's main events in the WWE. And a few of them deserved it, and other ones were just there because they didn't want people to be mad at them for not being fair. But for the majority of the women, the fans would see it as an insult, and probably some of these women would too, if instead of being a woman wrestler on the middle of the card, even in the women's title match, if you're a part of the package with one of the main event guys, then you're guaranteed to be figured into the main event of WrestleMania, or the main event of one of the main events of WrestleMania, or main event of 2 nights SummerSlam, or main event of the Royal Rumble, or whatever, if you're a package with a main event guy. And that would not only be preferable, but also would extend your career if you can be in bigger matches and take fewer bumps. And you're still a featured part of the fucking program, an even bigger featured part of the program, rather than just wrestling on the middle. So I love the pairing, and my feelings wouldn't be hurt if they would save Heyman's appearances for Braun and Reed and let Becky, for the most part, come out with Seth. And we've established that Becky can take better bumps than Paul. So I'm just saying, I like that the pairing, but it was kind of just a cheap way to get out of it fucking finish.
Yeah, and I'll save a lot of my thoughts about the intergender feud, as it looks like it will be, for when we talk about Raw. Obviously, it was her as soon as she got in a ring. It was clear that it wasn't a guy, and it didn't take too long to figure out, oh, that's clearly Becky Lynch.
Well, yeah, she's 110 pounds.
Do you think in this day and age, and with there being so many wrestling couples, especially in this company, but it's everywhere. It's all over. It's in the indies. It's in AEW. It's here. I don't know about what goes on in New Japan. But do you think it's smart to acknowledge it, lean into it, to use it? If everyone knows these two are a couple, if when they're not on wrestling, they're on red carpets together. We saw them at the Kentucky Derby together on TV. You know what I mean? If like it's a thing that's real and they're not hiding it, is it a smart thing to lean into it?
Yes. I mean, part of the reason why this works is because everybody knows that they're really together. They've already been together. Now, that's not to say that they couldn't have done this same thing if they weren't really a real life couple. They could have done this same thing on television. And I think the two of them together, because they can talk and they got chemistry, whatever, that would work whether they were a real couple or not. But it adds a lot to this that everybody has already known that they were together. Forever together. So yeah, use that.
Well, that was WWE's Clash in Paris. And of course, Jim, Paris is a long ways away. And although WWE will be remaining in Europe for a little while and returning to it not too long after that, there's a lot of time on the airplane to sit and look out the window and think about things. Maybe listen to some music while you're thinking about these things. Maybe listen to your favorite podcast while thinking about things on this airplane.
While thinking about doing a lot of thinking. I always tried not to think on planes, because if I thought on planes, I would be thinking about where the fuck I was at, and then I would be screaming and clawing at the fucking upholstery.
Well, maybe you need some good music to get you to stop thinking about things and just lose yourself in the groove, get down with the boogie. Jim, we have a great deal from our friends at Raycon for the listeners.
Yes, you do, and you don't get down with the boogie, you blame it on the boogie. And you get down tonight, and then you put on your boogie shoes. And I'd like to put on my boogie shoes and boogie with Raycon's Everyday Earbuds Classic. They have brought back the classics. You know what? I guess the classics were gone. I wasn't aware that we were classics deprived, but that's what they're saying because people were asking for it to come back. So now the latest version of Raycon's Everyday Earbuds Classic now features the active noise cancellation, as well as all of the fine details and the good things about the fine everyday earbuds, the 8 hours of playtime, 32-hour battery life, the fact that they never have to leave your ear. You can plug these in now to charge them up without taking them out of your head. They've got a cord.
I don't know that. No.
You stick one in this cord up your ass.
Again, there's no cord. There's no cord. There's no. This is not Raycon that Jim is speaking about. He's speaking about Brand X. But of course, Raycon, the earbuds that charge the old-fashioned way, the classic way.
That was a Triple H brand, actually, that you shoved the cord in your ass and plugged it in the wall. It said Triple X across it.
Raycon.
I'm thinking of just Raycon.
Raycon, Jim.
You know, their audio quality rivals all the big audio brands that you know and love at half the price.
Yeah.
That means that you can buy 2 pair for the same thing and they'll be twice as loud. And all other kinds of math. Don't believe me? Check out their tens of thousands of 5-star reviews on the interwebs. If you have 10,000 5-star reviews, you got 50,000 stars. So right there, they're ahead of Uncle Dave. And right now, free shipping on every pair of Raycon earbuds. And it's amazing because I know people are going to say, well, that's not a lot of money. They're not spending a lot because the earbuds are very light. It doesn't cost a lot to ship them. I'll have you know that to protect these earbuds, they ship them in their own pair of ears. So you're going to get not only a pair of earbuds, but a pair of ears. You know, they don't tell you whose ears they are.
This is ridiculous. They give you your own box. It comes in a box, comes nicely packed.
When you donate these things to like a medical laboratory, there's no names attached. It's a very anonymous situation. So you don't know what the name was of the guy whose ears you're getting. Could be a girl, but you're going to get the ears and the earbuds. You're not getting any
ears. Will you stop saying these things? There will be no ears. You'll be getting the earbuds, the classic, Raycon Classic. Yes.
Yes, it shows you how to put them in. See, it's like a visual aid, so that way you don't have to experiment on yourself. It's to try to help people. Right now, folks, go to Buy Raycon, BUYRAYCON, buyraycon.com/JCE. You're going to get 20% off the fan favorite Everyday Earbuds Classic. 20% off at buyraycon.com/JCE. You can listen to music. You can listen to podcasts. You can do a lot of deep thinking and then play with those ears. And sometimes you've seen the big elephant ear sandwiches. It's just the problem they're finding is finding buns that size.
Once again, not all of this necessarily has to deal with Raycon, the great earbuds, a great deal for the listeners. Buyraycon.com/JCE. We love them over here. I know they love them in Castle Cornette. Once again, buyraycon.com/JCE.
That's what I said.